There's a lie that's been repeated so many times that most people have come to accept it as absolute truth. The idea that whoever works harder always wins. But you only need to look at the real world to realize that this simply doesn't happen. There are people who work 12 or 14 hours a day and remain stuck in the same place, while others seem to advance with almost unfair ease. The question is inevitable. What do they know that most people never learned? Machiavelli had already noticed this pattern centuries ago. While almost everyone sought to appear strong, he observed how true strategists built power in silence. They didn't chase recognition. They didn't need to prove anything. Much less did they reveal their moves ahead of time. They understood that politics guided by reality, not ideals, requires seeing people as they truly are, not as we would like them to be. This is precisely why so many fail, because they follow advice made to sound good, not to work. Perhaps you've spent years studying, working hard, and doing everything the right way, yet you still see opportunities slipping away to seemingly less prepared people. This doesn't happen because they were luckier. Most of the time, it happens because they've learned a rule that almost no one teaches. Power doesn't belong to those who put in the most effort. It belongs to those who create the most advantage. Throughout this video, you will discover why. The end justifies the means when the means mean intelligent preparation, strategy, and discipline. Why? Better to be feared than loved never meant spreading fear, but earning an undeniable respect. Why it is essential to avoid being hated while building an appearance of virtue and before the world, and how virtu and fortuna work together when there is calculated use of force, constant adaptability, your own loyal armies, and decisions based on true human nature. The most curious thing is that none of these ideas require wealth, influence, or an important position to start working. In fact, some of them can completely transform the way you make decisions today. And there's one in particular that separates ordinary people from those who seem untouchable. A silent advantage that completely changes the rules of the game. The point is, after understanding it, you'll probably never see success, power, and influence in the same way again. If something inside you awakened while listening, don't ignore that feeling. This channel isn't about videos, it's about memories. Remember who you were before the fear, before the exhaustion, before the silence. Each new video here is a different reflection of your own soul, an invitation to understand what the world never taught you. The power you seek outside has always been within you. If you feel that this journey speaks to what lives silently within you, sign up now, not to follow yet another creator, but to reconnect with something the world tried to make you forget. Because here, every word was made to heal, each reflection to awaken, and each video serves as a reminder. You are not alone on the path back to yourself. Click on subscribe and turn the algorithm into a daily reminder of who you really are. There's a difference that almost no one notices between those who constantly chase opportunities and those who seem to attract them silently. Most believe that power is born from exposure, but Machiavelli saw something much deeper. True influence begins long before any achievement becomes visible. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, teaches that the game is won before it even begins, because those who arrive prepared have already eliminated dozens of risks that others never even imagined. While many waste energy trying to impress, strategists invest time strengthening what no one sees. They study, train, accumulate resources, create connections, and develop constant adaptability, knowing that the world rewards those who can respond quickly to change. That's exactly why the end justifies the means, when those means discipline, planning, and silent construction, never irresponsible shortcuts. Observe a great entrepreneur. Before the market knows their name, they probably spent years learning about sales, negotiation, finance, and human behavior. Similarly, an Olympic athlete receives a few minutes of applause after thousands of hours of invisible training. This is the true calculated use of force, expending energy only where it produces real advantage. Those who understand this also understand that better to be feared than loved doesn't mean intimidating people, but inspiring respect through competence that no one can ignore, always taking care to avoid being hated, preserving the appearance of virtue before others. This combination of virtue and fortune, of preparation and opportunity, makes luck seem to always favor the same people. And curiously, just as ancient leaders trusted in their own loyal armies instead of relying on borrowed forces, each individual needs to build their own resources, knowledge, and capabilities, making decisions based on true human nature, because there comes a time when simply being prepared is no longer enough. It's necessary to discover what that preparation allows one to do when the freedom to choose finally arises. Most people believe that freedom means having many options, but few realize that options only exist for those who have prepared themselves before they appear. Machiavelli understood that true power never belongs to the desperate individual, because whoever needs to accept any proposal has already surrendered part of the control of their own life. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, shows exactly that. Those who can leave the table without fear of losing the deal negotiate better. That's why successful entrepreneurs refuse clients who don't respect their values. Investors wait months to find the right moment to buy, and highly valued professionals choose companies instead of begging for jobs. This is not arrogance, it is a direct consequence of the preparation built up over the years. Virtù and fortuna work together when competence meets opportunity, but only those who have cultivated constant adaptability can wait without anxiety, while everyone else chases after any bright promise. Think of someone who has built a financial reserve equivalent to a year's expenses. When an abusive job opportunity arises, this person can say no without putting their survival at risk. Now compare this to someone in debt, forced to accept any condition simply because they didn't have time to prepare. This is a clear example of how the end justifies the means, when the means mean developing autonomy, discipline, and strategic vision. Similarly, someone who masters a language, understands artificial intelligence, learns negotiation, and continuously invests in knowledge, silently expands their margin of choice because they begin to depend less on the goodwill of others. The strategist knows that better to be feared than loved can also mean being respected by never acting under emotional pressure, always seeking to avoid being hated through serenity and the appearance of virtue, without turning firmness into arrogance. Just as ancient rulers trusted in their own loyal armies, they strengthened their own resources before depending on the resources of others, making decisions based on real human nature instead of believing that the world will be just on its own. And it is precisely when someone acquires this ability to wait and choose that they begin to perceive an even more powerful truth. Some small decisions produce such disproportionate returns that they completely change the balance of the game, revealing an advantage that few can see. There's a common misconception that traps most people in a cycle of endless effort. They believe that extraordinary results always require equally extraordinary sacrifices. Machiavelli, however, viewed the world through the lens of efficiency, not appearances, because politics guided by reality, not ideals, teaches that a strategist doesn't win by working harder, but by choosing better where to invest their energy. An asymmetrical advantage arises precisely when a small action produces consequences far greater than the cost required to execute it. Imagine someone who dedicates an hour a day for a year to learning English. The investment seems small when viewed daily, but it can open doors to international jobs, dollar-denominated businesses, access to the world's best books, and contacts that will last for decades. The same is true for those who learn sales, negotiation, programming, artificial intelligence, or financial literacy. Reading works like Think and Grow Rich, The Intelligent Investor, The Psychology of Finance, and Secrets of the Millionaire Mind may cost less than a dinner at a restaurant, but the knowledge gained can influence thousands of future decisions. This is the true meaning of the end justifies the means, when the means consist of deliberately investing in intellectual assets that continue to generate returns over time. The strategist understands that money can disappear, but well-applied knowledge tends to continuously multiply new opportunities. That's why they practice a calculated use of force, avoiding wasting energy on tasks that anyone can do and concentrating their efforts on the few decisions capable of completely altering their trajectory. This vision demands constant adaptability because what generates a huge advantage today may cease to work tomorrow. It also requires understanding that virtue and fortune go hand in hand. Luck usually favors those who were already positioned to take advantage of it. At the same time, they understand that better to be feared than loved can mean becoming recognized for the quality of one's own decisions, always seeking to avoid being hated by acting with balance and maintaining an appearance of virtue that strengthens their reputation. Just as ancient leaders preferred to rely on their own loyal armies, he builds systems that work in his favor, making decisions based on real human nature, because he knows there's a huge difference between having an isolated opportunity and building something that no one can easily copy. And that's precisely where the next strategic move begins. Few illusions are as dangerous as believing that appearing busy is worth more than producing results. Machiavelli understood that most of the time, the effort displayed in public serves much more to convince spectators than to generate real power. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, shows that intelligent people don't measure dedication by the apparent number of hours, but by the concrete impact of their actions. Just observe the corporate environment. There are those who participate in dozens of meetings a week, send messages all the time, and make a point of demonstrating that they are always working, while another person, almost invisible, solves the most important problems in a few hours and completely changes the company's results. Those who truly master the game realize that productivity doesn't make noise. It's common to find someone posting daily quotes about discipline on social media, while another is using that same time to study negotiation, develop a company, learn artificial intelligence, or build a new source of income. The difference only appears months later, when the results begin to speak for themselves. This is a clear example of the calculated use of force, investing energy only where there is a measurable return. The end justifies the means when those means represent focus, consistency, and the courage to abandon activities that only feed the ego. The strategist also understands that virtù and fortuna go hand in hand, but fortune rarely visits those who waste effort trying to impress audiences. Therefore, they develop constant adaptability, constantly reviewing their routine and eliminating everything that consumes time without generating true growth. They learn that better to be feared than loved also means being recognized for quiet efficiency, without falling into the trap of exaggerated self-promotion, always seeking to avoid being hated by maintaining an appearance of virtue, allowing results to speak before words. Just as ancient rulers preferred to rely on their own loyal armies instead of mercenaries who only appeared strong, they build a solid foundation sustained by real competence, making decisions based on real human nature and understanding that there is something even more valuable than working efficiently, occupying such a strategic position that their influence continues to grow even when they are not physically present. There comes a point in life when developing yet another skill is no longer enough. It is at this point that almost everyone keeps running, accumulating certificates, courses, and knowledge without realizing that they still occupy exactly the same place on the board. Machiavelli understood that power rarely belongs to the most talented. It usually favors those who occupy the right position. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, teaches that a skill is a tool, while a position determines who controls the tools. Think about the difference between an excellent salesperson and the owner of the company where they work. Both may master negotiation techniques, but one sells products, while the other decides which products will exist, who will be hired, which markets will be explored, and how profits will be distributed. The same happens with an extremely competent doctor who sees patients every day, and another who, in addition to technical competence, built a clinic, developed a strong brand, and came to coordinate an entire team. Both possess skill, but only one has built a strategic position. The end justifies the means when the means consist of gradually expanding one's field of influence without depending exclusively on individual execution. This movement demands virtu and fortuna because opportunities arise for those already prepared to seize them, but it also demands constant adaptability since positions change as the market evolves. The strategist makes a calculated use of force, investing less time in operational tasks and more time building relationships, reputation, systems, and authority. He understands that better to be feared than loved means earning respect through the relevance of the position he occupies, never through the imposition of force, always seeking to avoid being hated through competence and the appearance of virtue, which strengthens his credibility in the eyes of others. Just as ancient rulers preferred to sustain their power with their own loyal armies, he creates structures that remain solid regardless of circumstances, making decisions based on real human nature and realizing that when someone occupies a truly strategic position, they cease to be merely useful and begin to transform into something much more difficult to replace. There's a silent difference between being valued and being indispensable, and almost no one realizes this until they face a situation where all their talent is no longer enough. Machiavelli observed that countless highly capable people spent their entire lives executing orders, while others, sometimes not so technically brilliant, led organizations, influenced decisions, and shaped the future of thousands. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, reveals that skill allows someone to participate in the game, but position allows one to define its rules. An excellent programmer creates extraordinary systems, but the company founder decides which projects will be developed. A brilliant lawyer masters the process, but the firm's partner chooses which clients will be served and which strategies will be adopted. A great content creator produces incredible videos, but whoever builds a brand, a loyal community, and a team begins to influence far beyond their own daily production. This is the moment when virtu and fortuna meet, because competence opens doors, but strategic vision determines which doors are truly worth crossing. The end justifies the means when the means mean expanding your influence in an ethical, consistent, and intelligent way, creating structures that continue to generate value without depending exclusively on your working hours. The strategist practices a calculated use of force, constantly asking, am I just executing, or am I building something that will continue to grow even without my presence? This question completely changes the direction of life. It demands constant adaptability, as solid positions need to evolve before the environment forces that change. It also requires understanding that better to be feared than loved represents earning respect by occupying a space that few can reach, always seeking to avoid being hated through justice, competence, and the appearance of virtue, because reputation remains one of the most powerful assets one can build. Just as intelligent leaders prefer to rely on their own loyal armies, the strategist invests in people, processes, knowledge, and assets that strengthen their independence, making decisions based on real human nature instead of relying solely on the recognition of others. And when he finally understands the difference between utility and power, he realizes that there is an asset even more precious than any position he has achieved. That which makes him absolutely different from everyone else, something that deserves to be protected at all costs. Most people spend years trying to figure out what sets them apart, but they make a fatal mistake as soon as they find the answer. They give away their greatest asset to the world without any protection. Machiavelli knew that what generates power also arouses interest, envy, and imitation. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, teaches that everything that has value will inevitably attract people trying to copy, exploit, or even weaken its advantage. Therefore, the strategist doesn't just protect their money, they protect their reputation, their network of contacts, their methods, their ability to think, and even the way they learn. Imagine a businessman who has built an excellent sales process. If any employee can take this knowledge to a competitor without any barriers, part of the advantage disappears. The same happens with a content creator who develops their own style, a striking visual identity, and a unique way of telling stories. When they change their communication just to follow trends, they give up precisely what made them memorable. The end justifies the means when the means consist of preserving assets that took years to build. This includes registering trademarks, documenting processes, creating smart contracts, developing a loyal community, cultivating trusting relationships, and continuing to learn before others can catch up. This behavior requires virtù and fortuna, because it is not enough to create something extraordinary. It is necessary to keep it relevant while the environment constantly changes. It also requires constant adaptability, since today's differentiator may become commonplace tomorrow. The strategist makes a calculated use of force, revealing only what is necessary to grow, without freely giving away what represents their greatest competitive advantage. They understand that better to be feared than loved can mean becoming respected precisely because no one can reproduce their excellence, always seeking to avoid being hated through humility and the appearance of virtue, allowing their work to be admired without fueling unnecessary conflicts. Just as ancient rulers strengthened their own loyal armies to prevent their adversaries from discovering their weaknesses, they make decisions based on real human nature, understanding that protecting what makes them unique is only the first step. Ultimately, there's an even more powerful rule. Often the greatest asset isn't what you own, but what no one even knows how you built. Few people realize how much the need to reveal everything can destroy years of preparation in a matter of weeks. Machiavelli understood that silence was not a sign of insecurity, but a strategic tool for protection. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, teaches that in the real world, not all information needs to be shared the moment it is born. The more valuable an idea, a project or a strategy is, the greater the care that must be taken before putting it before everyone's eyes. It is common to see someone announce a new business on social media months before it exists, publicize grandiose plans before even validating the market, or reveal an opportunity while it still depends on discretion to function. In many cases, enthusiasm leads the person to seek immediate applause and, without realizing it, gives precious time to competitors to copy, criticize, or even occupy the space first. The strategist does exactly the opposite. He works in silence, tests, corrects, improves, strengthens his position, and only appears when the results are solid enough to speak for themselves. The end justifies the means when the means mean protecting a construction that is still vulnerable. Large companies constantly do this. They develop products in absolute secrecy for years, register patents before launch, and reveal new features only when they have a sufficient advantage to prevent quick responses from the competition. This behavior demonstrates virtu and fortuna, because opportunity favors those who know how to wait for the exact moment to act. It also requires constant adaptability, since silence does not mean inertia, but invisible movement. The strategist uses a calculated use of force, carefully choosing who needs to know their plans and who should only know the results. They understand that better to be feared than loved also means surprising with unexpected competence, always seeking to avoid being hated through discretion and the appearance of virtue, without feeding vanity or a constant need for validation. Just as ancient leaders preserved the location of their own loyal armies until the decisive moment, they make decisions based on real human nature, knowing that people judge intentions but respect results. And when those results finally appear, an even more important question arises: how to transform a personal advantage into something that continues to grow, even when you are not present to defend it. One of the biggest differences between those who work for money and those who build power lies in the ability to create something that continues to produce results, even when they are not present. Machiavelli understood that depending exclusively on one's own presence is a weakness disguised as competence. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, shows that any resource that disappears when you are away is not yet a true asset. It is merely an extension of your time. Think of a teacher who needs to repeat the same lesson every day to get paid, while another records a high-quality course, writes a book, and develops a community that continues to grow regardless of their schedule. Consider also entrepreneurs who document processes, train teams, and build systems capable of functioning without constant supervision. The same principle applies to investments, trademarks, content channels, software, income-generating real estate, or any structure that continues to deliver value even during your vacation or while you sleep. This is a clear example of the calculated use of power, because each hour invested ceases to produce only an immediate result and begins to generate repeated returns over time. The end justifies the means when those means mean creating lasting assets instead of relying solely on daily effort. The strategist understands that virtue and fortune favor those who build resilient systems, as an opportunity well seized today can continue to yield results for decades. To this end, they develop constant adaptability, reviewing their processes before they become outdated and ensuring that their assets keep pace with market changes. They also understand that better to be feared than loved represents earning respect for having created something solid, always seeking to avoid being hated through responsibility and the appearance of virtue, allowing their reputation to strengthen their assets instead of weakening them. Just as prudent rulers invested in their own loyal armies to ensure stability even in the face of crises, they make decisions based on real human nature, creating structures that survive change, unforeseen events, and even their absence. And when a person reaches that level of independence, they discover that there is one last strategic move: to become so valuable that replacing them becomes more expensive than keeping them around. The market rarely rewards those who work the hardest. It rewards those who are the hardest to lose. Machiavelli understood that the strength of a position depends not only on competence, but also on the cost others would face in finding someone capable of filling the same space. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, teaches that the rarer the combination of skills, reputation, relationships, and results you offer, the greater your negotiating power. This is why some professionals compete for jobs, while others receive offers without even seeking them. The difference lies not only in talent, but in the scarcity of the value they deliver. Think of a surgeon recognized for a specific technique, a consultant who has solved multi-million-dollar problems for various companies, or an entrepreneur whose brand inspires immediate confidence. They don't just charge for their time, they charge for their accumulated experience, the mistakes they avoided, and the security they convey. This is the true calculated use of force, investing years building something that few are willing or able to reproduce. The end justifies the means when those means represent continuous study, reputation building, intelligent specialization, and consistent excellence. The strategist understands that virtue and fortune favor those who never stop evolving, because what is rare today may become common tomorrow. Therefore, they practice constant adaptability, learning new technologies, strengthening their network of contacts, developing leadership, and continuously refining their ability to solve complex problems. They know that better to be feared than loved means being respected for the value they deliver, never for arrogance, always seeking to avoid being hated through humility, ethics, and the appearance of virtue, allowing their reputation to work silently in their favor. Just as ancient rulers strengthened their own loyal armies to guarantee stability in the face of any threat, they make decisions based on real human nature, understanding that people and companies always protect what would be too expensive to replace. And when they finally reach that level, they realize that there is still a crucial detail that separates true strategists from the rest of us. They never fully reveal how they manage to produce such extraordinary results. There's a reason why history's greatest strategists rarely explained every step before achieving their goals. Machiavelli understood that power lies not only in what one does, but in what others cannot replicate. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, teaches that absolute transparency is not always intelligence. In many contexts, it only makes the competitor's job easier. The strategist shares learnings, inspires people, and demonstrates competence, but preserves the details that constitute their true competitive advantage. Think of large technology companies. Everyone knows their products, but almost no one fully understands their algorithms, their internal processes, or the logic behind the decisions that underpin billions of dollars in market value. A great chef reveals the dish, but not necessarily every technique that makes that flavor impossible to copy. An investor may show the results of their portfolio, but rarely exposes the entire methodology they use to analyze companies. The same is true for content creators who publish consistent videos for years while keeping their research processes, production systems, and distribution strategies secret. This is a calculated use of force because sharing the result generates authority, while protecting the process preserves the advantage. The end justifies the means when those means intelligently defending everything that took years to develop. The strategist understands that virtù and fortuna favor those who continuously build value without freely giving away the map that leads to it. Therefore, they cultivate constant adaptability, refining their methods before they can be copied and always evolving one step ahead of the market. They understand that better to be feared than loved means earning respect through the consistency of results, never through the need to prove superiority, always seeking to avoid being hated through discretion, competence, and the appearance of virtue, allowing their reputation to inspire admiration without revealing all the behind-the-scenes secrets. Just as ancient leaders protected their own loyal armies and made decisions based on true human nature, they know that the world only sees what is before its eyes, while the greatest victories are usually born far from the spotlight. And it is precisely this combination of silence, preparation, positioning, and strategy that transforms an ordinary person into someone who seems untouchable in the eyes of others. If there is one lesson that runs through all these strategies, it is this: true power never arises by chance. It is built, protected, and expanded every day by people who understand that the greatest advantage almost always remains invisible to those who only observe the results. Machiavelli never taught that success belongs to the strongest or the most intelligent. He showed that victory belongs to those who see reality as it is, practice a politics guided by reality, not by ideals, develop virtue and fortune, make a calculated use of force, make decisions based on real human nature, and maintain constant adaptability in the face of life's inevitable changes. Now the question is no longer about other people, but about you. What exactly are you building today that will continue to generate value in 5 or 10 years? If all the opportunities you have disappeared tomorrow, would your preparation be enough to rebuild everything again? Are you developing assets or just trading time for money? Are you building a position or just accumulating skills? Is your greatest asset protected, or could anyone copy what you do? Perhaps the answer to these questions is uncomfortable, but it is precisely this discomfort that separates those who remain stagnant from those who decide to take control of their own path. After all, the end justifies the means. When the means mean discipline, strategic intelligence, and continuous growth. This is also why better to be feared than loved represents earning respect through competence, always knowing how to avoid being hated by acting with balance, preserving your appearance of virtue, and strengthening your own loyal armies. Whether they are people, knowledge, systems, or assets that no one can take from you. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Which strategy presented in this video most changed the way you view power? Is there any Machiavellian idea that you already apply in your life, or one that you intend to put into practice starting today? Write your answer in the comments. I've read them all, and many of the upcoming reflections on this channel stem precisely from these conversations. If you've made it this far, it's because you're seeking a type of knowledge that few people are willing to learn. So take advantage of this moment, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep watching the upcoming videos. With each new piece of content, you'll learn timeless principles about strategy, human behavior, influence, and power that can completely transform the way you make decisions and build your future. See you in the next video.